Civilization. This is one of my all-time favorite games. The amount of hours I've poured into this game as a child is unreal. I think the only game I might have played more is Quake World Team Fortress. Look at the box. This is awesome. It just sucks you in. Look at the modern city and the ruins of ancient Egypt. This is cover art at its best. I miss these old box games. It's like the lost era of gaming here. Man, these boxes are so heavy. Okay, let's open it up. The game, of course, comes on floppies. You get a technical paper and then a large manual of how to play the game, which includes a tech tree. I spent so many hours looking at this and planning what I was going to research next. Let's start the game. You need to select video, VGA, and then the audio, Sound Blaster, which is a great name. So now we've got some load options, customize a world, or just play Earth. As a child, I always played Earth. It just made things seem more real, and I knew what the map looked like. So let's not break a habit of a lifetime. Let's go Earth. Select your difficulty. How many civilizations? I always say more the merrier. Okay, let's go Romans. Not the greatest starting position, but I've got a real soft spot for these guys, as you can still see their engineering feats today, 2,000 years later. You start with a settler, so I just build a city right where you start. The sooner you get building your civilization, the better. This game takes you from the Stone Age to the present, so you need to crack on and not waste a lot of time finding the perfect space. Wow, the memories are just flooding back. I haven't played this in like 25 years, but at the same time it seems so familiar. Yes, it's a lot more simple than the sequels, but that can be a good thing as you can just jump back into the game. Graphic-wise, yes, it's a bit dated, but who cares? The gameplay is awesome, and it's a strategy game, so graphics aren't that important. Anyways, awesome graphics doesn't mean an awesome game. The great thing about this game is that it's an open sandbox kind of game, and you can virtually play how you like to. If you want to be peaceful, be peaceful. I'm not going to judge. However, I find being very aggressive works best for me. As you can see, you don't have many options in the city in the beginning of the game, so it makes it very straightforward, and it eases you into the game and makes it easier for you to learn. What I tend to do is a bit of exploring at first, then build some settlers to create new cities, and when you explore, you find these little villages that can give you A, money, B, a new technology, C, if you're really lucky, a new tribe or city, as we want to call it, or D, worst of all, unleash a horde of barbarians. I always think it's worth the risk. Who dares wins. When I come across a rival civilization at the beginning of the game, I tend to be very dishonorable and make peace, get a few units in place, and then attack them. Yeah, not great, is it? When it comes to building new cities, I always keep one unit in defending it. A phalanx is pretty good, it's a good defensive unit. What I always find very tricky is judging what 4 tiles away is from another city. You don't want your cities competing for the same tiles and resources. Once you get established, civilization will start indulging your ego to keep you hooked in playing the game. And they do this by letting you build your own palace. As we're Romans, let's build in the classical architectural style. Ah, that looks nice, just like the real thing. As you are planning your empire and world domination, your citizens are busy in the background discovering new technologies. These technologies allow you to build more and better military units, new city improvements, and wonders of the world. What you can do is look at the tech tree for guidance and for what technology you want and to aim for. Like I said earlier, I spent hours looking at this thing, trying to plan my next move, and particularly in getting railroad as soon as possible. Why railroad, you ask? Well, if you can build railroads between your cities, it doesn't cost any movement points for your units to move around, meaning you can move newly created units to the front line instantly. And if you combine this with tanks, which have multiple movement and attacks per turn, you can overrun a rival civilization in a lightning attack in no time. Check this out. Another thing I love about this game is the wonders of the world. You can only get one of these each game, and they greatly propel your civilization forward. I love when you get the Colossus, you can only see its feet. As you know, I love history, and I always love reading about history and reading about the wonders of the world in the Civilization Manual. When this game came out, the internet was just in its infancy, so you couldn't really rely on that. The only thing you could rely on is maybe that CD, Encarta. Remember this? The manual also stated what the wonders of the world unlocked in the game, like the Apollo program, unlocked the space race, the Manhattan Project, unlocked nuclear weapons. These are really messy. Look at all this pollution. Pollution is one of those annoying things you gotta keep track of and keep in check as your civilization advances. Sometimes I find my settlers spending more time cleaning up pollution than concentrating on what they should be doing, making roads or irrigation. The only thing more irritating than pollution is keeping your citizens happy. You can do this by building places of worship or converting one of them into an entertainer. At the end of the day, whatever you do, it's never enough. Your cities are constantly falling into civil disorder, and you constantly need to sort it out, even though you need to move on to more important things like building your spaceship. There are two things that scare me in this game, which are unruly barbarians and spies. Barbarians can appear out of nowhere, and they always seem to appear by a city you've just founded. Barbarians can run amok in the game, destroying improvements and sometimes even capturing cities. They can even destroy a civilization, including yours. Look at these two guys. It looks like a couple of fishermen enjoying a pint of bitter at some Cornish pub. Spies can also be very worrying. They can really shake things up. They can incite revolts, like this one in this barbarian city here, steal technology, destroy production, or even plant a nuclear device. And any of these things can really change the course of a game. My overall strategy for the game is to take over Europe, Asia, and Africa, and I generally only battle one civilization at a time. Unless it's near defeat, then I'll start on the second. But at the same time as this, you need to establish at least one city in North America as soon as possible. I'm talking about well before you completely control Europe, Asia, and Africa. This will give you a great staging point when you want to take over North and South America. It's just a case of keeping control of this city in North America and keeping the civilizations there happy. This may take a couple of attempts. I also like to create a few super cities, usually around my capital. These cities are surrounded by a blanket of road, rail, and irrigation. These cities have aqueducts, granaries, and other city improvements to grow large population bases. Then, I use these cities to create wonders of the world, expensive units, or other projects. What I find strange is when you look in the manual, it says build a temple to deal with volcanoes. Are you serious? How does this work? Once you've built your civilization up, the game still tries to keep you sucked in. You're always thinking, just one more turn. What if I build this or do that? And before you know it, hours have flown by. Civilization is bizarrely addictive. Even as a child, I'd wake up early and play this game. One morning my dad came downstairs, I think it was about 7:30, and he thought I'd been playing Civilization all night. I assured him I hadn't, but I'm not sure if he believed me. You can beat this game two ways. Firstly, Conquest. This is where you defeat all the other civilizations. This is what I always strive to do. The other way is building a spaceship and reaching Alpha Centauri first. I think I only did this like once as a kid just to see what it looked like. And in fact, when I redid this for this video, I didn't remember what this even looked like. It seemed like completely new to me. If you win the game, you're shown a map of how your empire conquered the world. I love watching this. It really inflates your ego and makes you feel good about yourself and, look at me. Look how great I am. The game also ends when the time runs out. Not much to say about that, it happens. The game also ends when you're defeated. Probably not many people have seen this screen, as they've probably rage quit long before this point and started a new game. Anyway, this is one of the best games of all time. And the only reason why I stopped playing it was because of Colonization and Civilization 2 were released. I'll explore Civ 2 sometime in the near future. Hope you enjoyed this. See you next time.